Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep today into some pretty cool stuff happening in the restaurant world.
Oh yeah, things are getting exciting, that's for sure.
I mean, who doesn't love going out to eat, right? But behind the scenes, running a restaurant, it can be kind of crazy sometimes.
Definitely. Lots of moving parts, lots of people, long hours, and then technology on top of it all.
Yeah, totally. And keeping up with all that tech can be a whole other challenge. That's why today we're focusing on restaurant POS systems, specifically the latest innovations in Odoo 18.
It's a powerful system, and with these new features in version 18, it's addressing some of the biggest pain points that restaurant owners and staff deal with every day.
From what I've been reading, it sounds like they've really listened to what people in the industry are struggling with and tried to come up with solutions that actually make a difference.
Exactly. That's the key. It's not just about having fancy tech features, it's about making sure those features actually solve real-world problems.
Like, I can't tell you how many times I've been to a restaurant and seen like a mountain of tablets behind the counter, all for different delivery apps.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic. And it's a nightmare for the staff to manage all of them.
Not to mention the confusion it can cause, right?
Right.
Orders getting mixed up, delays, frustrated customers.
And let's not forget the headaches of dealing with takeout taxes.
Oh, don't even get me started on those. So where does Odoo 18 come into all of this?
Well, first off, they've completely re-architected their POS system.
Re-architected, huh? That sounds pretty serious.
Yeah, they moved to a standalone application. In the past, POS systems were server-based, so if the server crashed, the whole system went down.
Oh, wow. I bet that caused some major chaos in the middle of a busy service.
Absolutely. But with this new standalone architecture, restaurants don't have to rely on a server anymore.
So even if the internet goes out, the POS can still function.
Exactly. No more nail-biting moments wondering if the system is going to crash during the Friday night rush.
I bet restaurant owners are breathing a huge sigh of relief.
Yeah, it gives them a lot more peace of mind.
And on top of that, I read that Odoo 18 has some pretty robust security features.
Oh, yeah, they've really stepped up their game in that area.
Like, what kind of stuff are we talking about?
Well, for starters, they've implemented PID-on security and different access levels for employees. So you can have cashiers, servers, managers, each with their own secure login and permissions.
That makes sense. Not everyone needs access to everything.
Right, and it helps with accountability too. You can track who's doing what, who's making changes to orders, who's processing payments, all that good stuff.
So it's like a built-in security camera and audit trail all rolled into one.
Pretty much. And they've even added the option to lock or unlock registers using a QR code or ID scan.
Wow, that's pretty high tech. It sounds like they've thought of everything when it comes to security.
They've definitely put a lot of effort into making sure that restaurant data is safe and secure.
But let's get back to that mountain of tablets I was talking about earlier. How does Odoo 18 tackle the whole delivery app integration issue?
They've partnered with Urban Piper, which is a platform that integrates with all the major delivery services like Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, you name it.
So instead of having a separate tablet for each app, restaurants can manage all their deliveries through one system.
Exactly. No more clutter, no more confusion, just a streamlined process for everyone.
That's a game changer right there.
It is, and it not only benefits the staff, but it also has a positive impact on order accuracy, delivery times, and ultimately customer satisfaction.
I could see that. Less room for errors, quicker turnaround times, happier customers all around. And from what I understand, restaurants have some flexibility when it comes to paying for this integration, right?
That's right. They can either go directly through Urban Piper or they can opt for a plan through their POS provider.
So there are options, which is always a good thing. But let's move on to order management. I was reading about some pretty cool improvements in Odoo 18. What stood out to you?
Well, they've added predefined notes for kitchen staff, service staff, and delivery drivers.
So like special instructions or dietary requirements.
Exactly. Anything that needs to be communicated clearly and efficiently.
That seems like such a simple thing, but I bet it makes a huge difference in reducing errors and misunderstandings.
Absolutely. Clear communication is essential in a busy restaurant environment. And on top of that, Odoo 18 now has virtual or floating orders.
Virtual orders, what are those?
It's a way to manage orders without assigning them to a specific table. So it's perfect for places like bars or quick service restaurants where customers aren't necessarily sitting down at a table.
So instead of being tied to a table number, orders can be managed by name or by group.
Yeah, exactly. And they've also enhanced table linking and merging, so it's much easier to manage large parties or groups that want to sit together.
That makes sense. I could see how that would be a huge help for staff, especially when things get hectic.
It definitely streamlines the process and makes everything run more smoothly.
And speaking of running smoothly, let's talk about some of the other ways Odoo 18 is making everyday tasks easier for restaurant staff. I know you mentioned takeout taxes earlier.
Oh, yeah, those can be a real pain. But Odoo 18 simplifies the entire process, making it much less of a headache for everyone involved.
That's music to my ears. Anything else?
They've also enhanced their employee tracking capabilities. Now you can monitor things like logins, order edits, payments, pretty much every action an employee takes within the
Yeah,
system.
with a lot of data.
It is, but it's all about accountability and transparency,
Yeah.
knowing exactly what's happening and who's doing what.
It's like having an extra set of eyes on everything.
Exactly. And it can be really helpful for identifying potential issues or areas for improvement.
And I can't forget to mention the whole offline functionality thing. That's got to be a lifesaver for restaurants in areas with unreliable internet connections.
Absolutely. The system can function seamlessly offline, allowing you to continue taking orders, processing payments, and doing everything you need to do. Once the internet connection is restored, you just close out the session and everything syncs up.
Wow, that's impressive. They've really thought of everything. But what about integrating with other tools and platforms? Is Odoo 18 compatible with other restaurant management software?
Yeah, they've expanded their integration capabilities, which is awesome.
So give us some examples. What kind of integrations are we talking about?
Well, for starters, they've integrated with WhatsApp.
WhatsApp, like the messaging app.
Yep, the very same.
So what does that mean for restaurants?
Well, for one thing, they can share receipts with customers directly through WhatsApp. They can also use it for marketing campaigns and promotions.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that. That's a pretty clever way to leverage a platform that pretty much everyone is already using.
It is. It makes it so much easier to reach customers and communicate with them. And for restaurants in India, they've also integrated with Razorpay.
Razorpay, what's that?
It's a popular payment gateway in India.
So that makes it easier for restaurants to accept online payments and process transactions through QR codes.
Exactly. It's a major plus for restaurants operating in a rapidly growing digital market like India.
But all this tech integration and connectivity, it does raise some concerns about data security, right?
Oh, absolutely. Data breaches are a major concern for any business, but especially for those handling sensitive customer information like restaurants.
So what is Odoo 18 doing to address those concerns?
They've implemented some pretty robust security measures, like detailed audit trails for every transaction.
So they have a record of everything that happens within the system.
Yep, down to the nitty-gritty details. Plus, they closely monitor employee activity, and certain functions, like accessing sensitive data, are restricted to administrators only.
That's good to hear. It sounds like they're taking data security very seriously.
Yeah, they know how important it is, and they've made it a top priority.
But before we wrap up, I want to touch on one more thing, table management. I know we talked about linking and merging tables, but what other cool features are there?
Well, they've got some pretty advanced splitting capabilities that go way beyond basic bill splitting.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more.
You can track guest counts, calculate per guest amounts, and you can even manage your floor plan visually.
Visually, so you can see a digital representation of the restaurant layout and see which tables are occupied, which ones are open, all that.
Exactly. You can optimize seating arrangements on the fly, which is super helpful during peak hours.
That's pretty amazing. I can see how that would be a game changer for busy restaurants trying to manage a lot of customers.
Yeah, it makes everything a lot more efficient and organized. And here's one that's particularly cool. You can customize names for floating orders.
So instead of just having a generic floating order, you could name it something specific.
Exactly. Like if you're catering a big event or a wedding reception, you can assign specific names to those floating orders, making it much easier to keep track of everything.
Oh, wow. That's a level of customization I haven't seen before.
It's really impressive, and it shows how Odoo 18 is really focusing on those specific needs of different types of restaurants.
It's clear that Odoo 18 isn't just about adding flashy tech features for the sake of it. They've really listened to what restaurant owners and staff need and have tried to come up with solutions that actually make their lives easier.
Exactly. It's about improving the restaurant experience for everyone, from the staff to the customers.
Happier staff, smoother operations, more satisfied customers, everyone wins. It's exciting to see how technology can be used to make such a positive impact on an industry that's so vital to our culture and our communities.
I agree. It makes you wonder, what's next? How will technology continue to evolve and shape the future of restaurants?
Ooh, that's a good question. One we'll have to ponder another time.
Definitely.
Thanks for joining us today, everyone. We hope you found this deep dive into the world of restaurant POS innovations enlightening and maybe even a little bit inspiring.
Until next time.
See you then.